Hello and welcome back to Module 2. This brief podcast will deal with informative abstracts, which is part of the research assignment you'll be dealing with in Module 2. There are many different types of abstracts, but one of the most common is a descriptive abstract. A descriptive abstract outlines topics covered in an article or a research paper. It also describes the content. It does not substitute for actually reading the article, and it often works as a table of contents. Now, a descriptive abstract is not something that you're doing. You are working on an informative abstract. An informative abstract does all of what you've seen, what I said with descriptive abstracts, but it provides more substance. It provides information on the substance of the piece. It is also occasionally a substitute for reading the article, especially busy managers or researchers may read the abstract to get a feel for the article to see if it's something that they should include in their own research. Now, the nuts and bolts of informative abstracts include this information. You want to identify the information in the article that you're working with. You want to give a concise restatement of the main point and background problem. You want to talk about the methodology used in the article to find the key findings. And you want to discuss the major conclusions. Now, the process that you're going to be working with, you're going to read the guidelines in the Module 2 activities if you haven't already, but so that you know, informative abstracts are typically 10% the length of the article. So if you have a 10-page article, you're looking at about a 1-page informative abstract. Think around those lines. This is a big difference between annotated bibliographies and informative abstracts. Informative abstracts are 10% the length of the article. Typically, it can be a little high, a little low, but think in that general term. So don't pick an article that's 500 pages. The informative abstract for that is going to be too burdensome for the time frame that you have to work with in this class. Now, for the assignment, you're going to choose one article from the 10 to 12 sources that you've gathered for your research in Module 2, and that one article will be the one you write the informative abstract on. Now, make sure it's long enough and follow the 10% rule that I've just described there, and make sure that it's one of the 10 to 12 sources you're identifying for Module 2. And this will tie in also to the annotated bibliographies you'll be working on. Now, read all the articles that you've pulled together and then choose one to write an informative abstract. In the informative abstract, you should note the major points of the article, note the research used, and extract the major conclusions. Now, before you do this, make sure you have written and turned in your communication context for Module 2. And finally, make sure you get the URLs or copies of your articles to me early in the module. In the case of the online course, the URLs will suffice. Share your communication context with your reviewers as we move into the peer review process. This will give your peers the context of your research. And perhaps most importantly, give yourself time to write and revise. Don't wait until the last minute to put these together. The informative abstracts are not incredibly difficult to write. They're not long assignments, but if you don't give yourself sufficient time to both read the article and come up with a nice cogent abstract, you will find yourself running out of time very quickly and not being able to participate in the peer review at the level that you should. So again, look at those 10 to 12 resources or sources that you've come up with. Choose one to write an informative abstract about. And in the first draft form, this will be this abstract will be part of the peer review process that we'll be talking about. Thanks.